Okay, so this is lesson 1.2. We're going to do some factoring today. This should be a review from Algebra 1B. Now, some students in here maybe have not had Algebra 1 for a long time. You came into the Excel Center having already had both of your credits or passing the ECA. Some of you came from Miss Carolyn's class where you didn't need to take the second semester of 1B. So if this is not familiar to you, it's okay. We're going to start from the beginning and you're going to be just fine. We're actually going to come back to this page right here after we learn a couple things, okay? So let's move on to this first page here. It says factoring polynomials. Let me turn this around. All right, factoring polynomials. The purpose of factoring, does anyone know the purpose of factoring? To simplify. Okay, we're going to label this 1.2. This is lesson 1.2. Factoring polynomials. Go ahead and label your packet. If I write, you write. Okay, to factor, the process of factoring is simplifying, which is what Crystal told us. So it's reducing a polynomial to lowest terms. Simplifying. Okay? So it's reducing a polynomial to lowest terms. It's also separating. Nope, that's an A, isn't it? Separating a polynomial into a product. What does product mean in math?
Multiplication.
Multiplication, right? So when we factor something, we turn it into actually a multiplication problem. So let's look at these couple examples at the top. These are multiplication problems at the top. What do we do with this A outside there? What are we going to do with it? Distribute it. And distribute it means to multiply, right? So we reviewed this on Monday. A times 3A is going to give us 3A squared. Good. And then A times 7 plus 7A. Good. Go ahead and try the second example there. Remember, we're going to change our exponents. Negative 2m cubed. Negative 12m squared. Good. And then don't forget we have a negative times a negative. So that becomes positive 2m. Okay, try that last one. Remember to add your exponents when you're changing, when you're multiplying your variable. So you add your exponents. Okay, so the first term there, Cade, is going to be what? What's your first term there on number 3, that third one?
5x squared y.
5x squared y. Does anyone agree with Cade?
Yep.
Only 4 of you? Okay, I was going to say, everybody should. All right, what's going to be the second term there, Lexi? Negative 10, right? Because 2 times 5, x, y squared. Anyone else agree with Lexi? Good. Good, good. Okay, so we're remembering how to multiply. Remember, factoring is going the opposite direction. Okay, so factoring is going to go the opposite direction. So when we're factoring today, we're going to start here, and we're going to move back over to this way. So we're dividing. Sometimes people think of that as dividing it out. We're factoring it out. Okay? So polynomials that cannot be factored are called what? Ooh, prime. Not Optimus Prime, just prime. Okay, so let's do some examples here. Again, I'm asking you not to work ahead as I'm teaching because I want to make sure that you are with me on this, okay? It says there will be several ways to factor. So sometimes students say, well, just tell me how to do all of them and I'll do them all the same way. Well, that doesn't work with factoring. It depends on what you've been given, okay? So there's no one rule for all of them. And then it says, today we are going to start by using the greatest common factor, which you guys should be familiar with the GCF, the greatest common factor, all right? So if we look at example 1, it says 3x plus 12. What is the greatest common factor in 3x plus 12, Mitchell? What number do they both have in common? Nope, 6 can't go into 3. 4 can't go into 3. Shh, Mitchell's going to get it. Can 2 go into 3? Oh, you're counting backwards. What about 3, Mitchell? Would 3 go into both of those numbers? What? Yes? Okay. So we're going to divide by 3. Now, I know that some of you maybe have been taught to do one big 3. I would prefer you not to do that because as Algebra 2 gets a little bit trickier, you might miss some variables or exponents, and I don't want you to do that, okay? So I want you to divide by 3 on each one for me so that you don't miss anything. All right, so we know that 3 divided by 3 cancels, then that leaves me with x. And what is 12 divided by 3? 4. Now, when you're factoring, you have to be able to, do you see where it says check your answers by redistributing? Well, if my answer is just x plus 4, there's nothing to distribute. So what's wrong with this? Say that louder, Ashley.
Put the 3 on that side.
So whatever you factor out doesn't go away, it goes to the outside. So your answer here is going to be 3 times x plus 4. Okay? It doesn't go away. And if you don't put the 3 there, your answer is going to be incorrect. And you will not get points for it. All right, let's look at number 3. What is the greatest common factor between 5x and 30y? Alyssa. 5. Perfect. 5 is the number that goes into both of them. They don't have any variables in common. So we're going to divide by 5. Divide by 5. Gives me x. 30 divided by 5 is 6, and I have that y there. Braxton, is this answer going to get full credit that I have written up there?
No.
Why not?
They didn't have the 5.
You have to have the 5 on the outside. It's an absolute must. All right, number 5. 6a squared plus 27. What number do they have in common? Who wants to answer has not answered yet? Yes, Colton. 3. Right? They both have a 3 in common. 6 can't go into 27, but 3 can. Okay, so we're going to divide each of them by 3. Where does that 3 go? On the outside. 6 divided by 3 is 2. We didn't do anything with the a's, so the a squared is still there. Plus 9. Okay. I'd like you to try number 6, please. I'd like you to try number 6. Yes. Nope, you leave it because there's nothing else besides the 9 doesn't have any a's with it to pull out. Yep, you just leave it as that. Try number 6, please. James, what did you pull out of number 6?
Wait. Okay. Continue.
What number do they have in common? 4. Do they have anything else in common? Ooh, they have a 4 and a y in common. So on number 6, we need to divide by a 4 and a y. Did you guys catch that?
Wait, what?
4 and a y. They both have a 4, right? And they both have a y to give up. So you have to divide by 4y.
I definitely
Forgive
did
me,
it
Carolyn,
already.
I disrespect your teachings.
I did it by 2.
Okay, that's not going to be the greatest common factor. We have to do the greatest number. The 4y goes out front. Okay. 4 over 4 cancels. How many y's are left in that first term?
3.
In the first term, there's just one y left here, right? Y squared divided by y leaves you with just
Why?
y.
You took one away.
Okay? And then 24 divided by 4 is 6, and the y is canceled. So this should be 4y times y minus 6. Any questions on that one? Okay, so you're always going to look for the biggest number and then to see if they have any variables in common. Do you see how the 4 had 2 y's and the 24 had 1 y? So we can pull out one of them. Okay, we're going to do another example. Let's look at number 7. What's the biggest number that you can pull out, Ryan? 3. So we can pull out a 3 for both of these. And then what variable do they have in common, Alyssa? A d. So we're going to pull a d out of both of them. Okay? So 3d is going to come out front.
Get it pretty.
21 divided by 3.
7.
Okay? 7, and then the c. Excellent, because the d's cancel, right? And that c is still left there. Now, 3d over 3d, that's just 0, right? Okay, so that's just 0, so we just need 7c. And remember it said to check by redistributing? So what happens when I distribute this? 3d times 7c, well that gives me 21cd. But how am I supposed to get my minus 3d? Because there's nothing else to distribute to, because we said it was 0.
Because you have to move it over to the other side?
There's nothing on the other side. Say this louder, Leanna. What is 3d divided by 3d? It's 1. And if you forget and you don't put a 1 right here, you will have nothing to multiply that 3d by, which means you will not get the same answer, which means you did not factor correctly. So, let me ask you again, class as a whole. What is 3d divided by 3d? I heard 4 people.
1.
Thank you. And it doesn't matter how many times I make this very silly, you will forget. And this will happen. And you will say, it just doesn't make sense. And I'm going to say, yeah, because 1 divided by 1 is still what?
1.
1. A million divided by a million is still,
A million.
thank you. 1 is what you meant to say. All right. Whew, we might have to have some one-on-one time later. Did you get that? One-on-one? Okay, number 8. Try number 8 on your own, please.
That was a punny.
I know. Try number 8. Look at what number they have in common first, and then see what variable you can pull out. What?
And sometimes that's all, that's gonna be it, as far as the number.
Okay, that's the right number. Does it have any variables that you can pull out? Okay. Vinny, what number did you pull out?
I did 2.
Okay,
And I pulled out the H.
perfect. 2 and an H can come out. Did anyone else pull out a 2H? Good, 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 good. Mitchell, what's left when you pull out a 2H? Okay, what number do you have also?
7.
7g. And then 18 divided by 2 is, anyone? 9. And the h's cancel here. All right, you getting the hang of it, guys?
Nope.
Perfect. Let's do number 9 on your own. Do 9 and 10. And check your answers with your neighbor.
Oh no, the training wheels come off.
Hope you have your helmet on.
You can take the lowest power that they both have. So what, like up here, when this one had a square and this one just had a y, you can just take out a y. Just the first power. So the same kind of situation here. This one has a square. He like has, he didn't have an extra one, right? But because he only has one, we can only.
If you're watching the video, go ahead and pause and do 9 and 10. All right, here we go. Number 9. The answer is, who have I not called on yet today?
Don't call me, just clearly I got the wrong answer.
I'll call on you. Allison, are you feeling comfortable about number 9? What did you pull out?
I got A, B, C, parentheses.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
No, I don't feel comfortable.
What did you get on number 9? What'd
15, A, B, parentheses.
Okay, so you pulled out 15AB. Did anyone else pull out 15AB? Look around. Do you see how many hands are raised? That means everyone else pulled it. Okay, then what's left? What's on the print in the parentheses?
A minus 2.
Anyone else get A minus 2 in parentheses?
Yep.
Allison, take a look around. Boom. Excellent. 15AB times A minus 2. All right, number 10, Dalton. What did you pull out on number 10?
I haven't got there yet. We supposed to
What are, yep, I asked you to do number 10 too. You're working on it. Ashley, what did you get on number 10? What'd you pull out? 8, B, and C. Anybody else pull out A, B, C? Ooh. They have 8 in common because if you only pull out 4, that means that you have a 2 and a 4 still in the parentheses, or I'm sorry, a 4 and a 6 still in the parentheses, and you can pull out a 2 from there still. Okay? So 8BC goes on the outside, leaving you with what in the inside, Ashley? 2C plus 3. 2C plus 3. If you only pulled out a 4, BC, that leaves you with 4C plus 6. And do you guys see that 4C and 6 have a 2 still that you can pull out? Okay? So here, let me explain this to you. If your brain does not automatically go to the 8, that's okay. If you automatically went to the 4, and this is what you had as your answer, right here, take another look before you finish and say, does this have anything that I can still pull out? And if you can still pull something out, pull that out. And so here, we could divide this by 2. So I'm going to put a 2 on the outside, and when I put the 2 on the outside, I multiply it times the 4, leaving me with the same answer.
So if they still have
Okay.
a common denominator.
That means you didn't pull out the greatest, so keep going. Yes, Brooklyn?
Okay, so with that problem, since the BC is squared, where's the extra B?
There isn't an extra B. You pulled a B out here, right? And you pulled a B out here. So the B goes out to the front.
Okay, you're right.
You did have an extra C though, right? Because this one had C squared.
You're right.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next page. Let's go to the next page.
Yeah, it gets harder. You get more.
Harder, as long as you know the basics.
In 15
this is
minutes.
cake.
Okay. You guys, I don't do well. Listen, I will just say this on day 1, day 3. I do not do well with whining. So get that out before you get to my class. This is the nature of my class. It is a college level class. Well, some of it is, right? And this is the last class besides geometry before you graduate. So it's going to be hard. All right? My job is to help you walk through it so you don't feel miserable when you leave. That's my job, and I take that seriously. But I'm not here for you just because I think that this is just a whole ball of fun and I have nothing else to do with my life. I would rather be at the pool today, I'm going to be honest. Okay? But I'm not. I'm here with you, working through this with you. All right? Miss Carolyn and I already have math degrees. We already know how to do this. We're here for you, not for us. So it's kind of disrespectful when you're whining and this is hard and I hate this and all that kind of stuff. I'm not asking you to love math. I'm asking you to try. Okay? We clear on that? Okay. Yeah, I think that was one of our things, wasn't it? Commentary. There we go. Okay. Let's go and let's try number 17. Okay? We're going to skip down to do number 17. So on the next page, we're doing 17. All right, let's take this a step at a time. What's the number that they all have in common? 2, right? They all have a 2 in common. So we're going to divide each term by 2. They all have a y. Do they have more than one y? They all have at least how many y's? Y squared. Okay? So we're going to divide each term by y squared. Now that wasn't hard, was it? You decide what number first, then decide what variable and how many of them. You don't have to do it all at once. Okay, so now we can do 6 divided by 2 is y to the 4th divided by y squared. Y, let's say y squared. Let's get in the habit of that, okay? Y squared. 14 divided by 2? Good. Plus 7y. And then we have 10 divided by 2 is 5, and the y squareds cancel. Is this your final answer? 3y squared plus 7y minus 5. Aspen, why not?
Because you have to add the 2y squared to the outside of the parentheses.
You have to put this in parentheses with your 2y squared in front. Otherwise, you're not going to get back to your original answer.
No, it'd be easier if you just put that before you put the other stuff.
It would be. Yep.
I always do.
So you don't forget it.
Yep. Excellent. Let's try number 19. On number 19, what number do they all have in common?
14.
Okay, they all have 7, but let's look. 14 is what they're all going to have in common.
14.
Okay, hey, so we're going to divide them all by 14. What about variables?
H.
Do they? It looks like some of them have a G, but do they all have a G?
No.
Nope. So just one H comes out.
So
Okay.
14 H outside,
Yep. 14H goes on the outside.
and then
The first term I only have a G left. 28 divided by 14 is 2 G. And then what did we say 14H divided by 14H is? 0? 1.
One would be GH because it's square.
What'd you say?
The GH because it's square.
Oh, Colton sees something that I messed up on, right? What was that, Colton?
GH squared.
GH squared. So the first term should actually have a what in it? There should be an H next to this G in the first term. Good catch. So it should be GH plus 2G plus 1. Lexi? Right? I just didn't have an H in there at all. I just had G by itself.
I don't know. It was my
I didn't put my H in there at all. It cancels one of them out. Right? 2 minus 1 is still what? So there's still one H left. Okay? What? Let's not go back. Let's keep going forward. Okay, try 21, please. On your own.
Cause see, that's what I said right here.
Point, right?
Okay, so what's the greatest common factor number? What's the constant or the coefficient in number 21? What's the biggest number? Just 1. The biggest numbers. Yes. And then, go ahead, Taylor. What were you going to say? You can pull a what from each one? You can pull at least an M from everyone,
And then
but only one because the last guy only has one. And then it looks like we can maybe pull two N's, except for the first one only has one N, right? So we can put an MN out to the front, which leaves us with M squared, because those N's cancel. M squared divided by M is M. N squared divided by N is N. That 5's is still there. M's cancel. And then N to the what power?
Second.
Second squared. Who has this as their answer? M squared minus MN plus 5N squared. Looking good. Looking good. Okay, last example. Do number 23, please.
These all got 5 in common. They do.
Okay, Olivia. Shh. What's the biggest number you can pull out of all of them, Olivia? The biggest number. What'd you say? 5. Okay. Cade, how many A's can you pull out of all of them? Thank you, Cade. Okay. And Braxton, how many B's can you pull out of all of them? Woohoo, none. All right, so just 5A is what we're going to pull out. Cedric, what'd you get when you pulled out 5A?
5A times 7A minus 4B squared plus
7A minus 4B squared plus 3. Anyone agree with Cedric? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Nice job, guys. Okay, so if you look there at the bottom, it says it has some recaps. If it says, look at the coefficients first, that's what we've been doing every time. What's the biggest number to pull out, right? The second thing is a variable must be in common to all terms. Just like in 23, they didn't all have a b, so I couldn't pull them all out. Number 3, it says if there is a variable common, you're going to take the smallest exponent. So like on 21, the smallest exponent for m and n were both 1. And then the fourth thing is to finally divide out each term. If you keep this process where you're dividing a term at a time, like I did up there, you're going to do well on this part, okay? All right, we're going to continue with notes after our break.